Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and just as I thought it was going to be a slow day for Celtic, no news. We got a couple of stories breaking over the past hour, a couple of good ones. Celtic have finally been linked with a left back. We've all been waiting for that, and it looks as though Paulo Bernardo is finally signing for Celtic. That saga seems to be over. So, a left back and Paulo Bernardo? Don't mind if I do. Let's talk about that. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be very much appreciated. We are just about to hit 45,000 subscribers. So let's get over the line, and as soon as we hit the 45k number, I'm going to announce a couple of wee giveaways on the channel to give back to you guys. Jump down below, hit both those buttons. It's absolutely free. Giveaway at 45k. Hope you're happy. So all summer long, people have been asking me, Ryan, have we been linked with a left back? Are we any closer to signing a left back? Is there any sign of a left back? And up until about 25 minutes ago, the answer to that question was pretty straightforward, and it was no. But as I said, about 2:30 this afternoon, that has all changed. Celtic have finally been linked with a left back in this transfer window, and a journalist over at the BBC is reporting that we could even say that Celtic have opened discussions trying to sign a left back in this transfer window. This was a story, a tweet published by Nick Masheter of the BBC around 2:30 this afternoon, saying that Celtic have made a renewed attempt to take Hugo Bueno on loan from Wolves. Clubs are talking, but no agreement yet. Of course, Hugo Bueno is a player who popped up in January, during the January transfer window when Alexander Bernabei left the club, and we were left with only Greg Taylor at the left back position. Hugo Bueno's name popped up. There was talk and rumours then that he could be an option for Celtic. We'd done a full video discussing him back in January, and it seems we're going to have to do the same now. So the article from Nick Masheter of the BBC says this: Celtic have made a renewed attempt to sign left-back Hugo Bueno on loan from Wolves. The Premiership champions want to take the left-back on a season-long loan after failing to bring him to Glasgow in January. The clubs are in talks over the move, but currently there is no agreement in place. So Celtic have opened discussions to try and bring Hugo Bueno to the club. Is there a good chance of it happening? We're going to discuss that. Would I be happy if it happened? Absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love Celtic to sign a permanent left back, so we don't need to keep, going back to the well to find another left back next season and maybe the season after. Loan deals can be good, they can be useful, but they also can be very frustrating if a player performs or maybe overperforms and then you just can't get them back. And that could be the situation with Hugo Bueno. There is very little detail in place yet of this story around what the deal may contain, if there will be an option to buy, an obligation to buy, anything along those lines. But at the young age that he is, and with the appearances he's already made for Wolves and being the backup to their starting left back in Ait Nouri, I don't think Wolves will want to let him go permanently or even give Celtic a sniff of letting him go permanently. I would assume, and I'm under the assumption, that this deal will be a straightforward loan for a season, and then with the full intention of him going back to Wolves next season. However, I think he's a very talented young player. I think he would be one of the stronger left-back options that are available to us at this moment in time. And it's one that I would be happy with. Now, I know that it'll raise that same concern that I think a lot of fans have right now in this transfer window. We have all that money in the bank. And I do share this concern, by the way, just to make it clear. We have all this money in the bank. Celtic have published financial reports greater than their whole entire history, the best that we've ever been financially, and so far we've spent £1 million between two players, and now we're talking about a loan deal for one of the most important areas we need to improve in. But if it's one of the better options on the table right now and it gives us more time to scout and watch development of other left backs, I am definitely not against Hugo Bueno being the left back for Celtic next year on a loan basis, because I think he's a good player, and one that I wouldn't like to see us pass up on if the opportunity is there. Last season, Hugo Bueno played 21 times for Wolves in the Premier League. I had the pleasure of watching a few of those games where I thought he was pretty good. Over the course of the season, he played 25 times through cup competitions. The season before that, he played roughly the same. I think it was 23 appearances in the 2022-23 campaign. So he's been used to first-team football with Wolves for a couple years now. He's been in and around the squad. Only very recently did he become the second choice, you could say, to, as I mentioned, Ait Nouri, who is the starting left back now for Wolves. Funnily enough, Hugo Bueno was speaking about that recently, his desire to be back into the starting lineup and playing again, about adapting to the new systems. But a loan move to help him develop further to Celtic, that could potentially be on the cards. He's been at Wolves now for about 6 years. He's actually, funnily enough, at the age of 22, the longest serving player in the Wolves senior side. He's been there for a long time now. They signed him when he was very young. I think he was around 16, 17 when he signed. As I said, 6 years now he's served at Wolves through their youth system and now the senior team. He has expressed, this was his quote, he wants more chances to play, he wants to keep improving. That's the most important things to him. He's really happy and motivated about the new season. He's found a motivation in trying to make the situation better, ignoring the setbacks. So he has all eyes on the ball of starting at Wolves, and that could be something that holds Celtic back. But the opportunity to come to Celtic, play probably week in, week out, I'd assume he'd be the starting left back for us. I don't think Wolves would want to loan him out if he wasn't. To play in Champions League football, I think this could arguably be a better place for him to develop over the next year to prove that he should be starting in the Premier League. So I think he should seriously consider it. But Wolves, will they be the stumbling block? As we've already read, there is no agreement in place yet. Discussions will be lengthy. They've already rejected one club who tried to loan him out last week. It was actually as recent as yesterday, multiple reports came out that Norwich had loan bids rejected for Hugo Bueno. They rejected an approach from Norwich for Hugo Bueno to bring him in on loan for the year. Will Celtic see that same treatment? Honestly, couldn't tell you. The interesting thing is that it seems that story went straight to rejection, whereas this BBC article this afternoon is reporting that the discussions are beginning. There's no rejection as of yet, so we're just going to have to watch where this one goes. I think it would be a good solution for the left back issue over the next year. Of course, it just will bring up that same talking point of why we're not spending money, why we're going for somebody who will then leave us. You know, there is negatives that come alongside it, but generally I think he's a very good player, someone who would improve the general quality of our side, and hopefully it progresses nicely. We'll just need to wait and see. And second transfer story for today, one that will be good news to us fans, is surrounding the future of Paulo Bernardo. It seems like that whole transfer saga is finally about to come to an end. We've been told numerous times over the past fortnight alone that he is signing for Celtic, that he'll be here very, very soon. But I think now more than ever, it looks as though that deal will be totally finalised and he'll be announced as a Celtic player very, very soon. Mais Football in Portugal reported this, that Benfica have finally completed the transfer of Paulo Bernardo to Celtic. The deal is finally done. Benfica will receive around €3 million from the sale and will also keep a significant part of Paulo Bernardo's transfer fee, as he will sign a 5-year contract with Celtic. So of course that sell-on clause that could be contained in the next few days. The transfer should become official after the midfielder completes all the formalities to sign the contract. So I think we're essentially being told from journalists over in Portugal that he has departed Benfica, he's on his way to Glasgow, the final formalities being the medical that needs passed and the contract being signed. All agreements should be in place when it comes to both the transfer fee and the player's wages. So I think that maybe, if we're lucky, by tomorrow night, we might have the announcement that Paulo Bernardo is a Celtic player. If not tomorrow night, they might save it for Monday. But I think this deal is effectively done now. Paulo Bernardo is essentially through the door. It's one that's dragged itself on a little bit, and I'm finally just glad to see the back of it. There's not really much I can add that hasn't been said on the Paulo Bernardo transfer. I'm starting to sound like a broken record. We've been talking about him and Adam Ida all summer. So there's not much I need to add that you haven't heard. But what I will say is Celtic have done a really good job at bringing that £6 million deal down to this £3.5 million that we're hearing. I think they've done a good job getting the contract in place after that was an apparent stumbling block. Ultimately, I'm just really happy with the signing of Paulo Bernardo. I think that he last year proved that he could be of use to this side, and he's still a young guy. I think a lot of people are forgetting this as well. You know, I've seen some people not very enthusiastic about Paulo Bernardo. Oh, he's not that great. This is a guy in his early 20s. He's still got a long way to go, and I think he showed definite quality. Both across domestic football and European football for Celtic last year. So, yeah, I'm really happy we're signing him. Brendan Rodgers clearly likes the player, and I think the majority of Celtic fans do as well. So, yeah, glad he's coming in. Looking forward to seeing him with the shirt and the official contract. Welcome to Celtic again, big man. Another one through the door. So that'll leave us at the Sinsalo, who's signed Viljami Sinsalo, Kasper Schmeichel, Paulo Bernardo. Hopefully up next, you're maybe hoping for Adam Ida. We'll see how that goes. And of course Hugo Bueno would be great. And then kick on from there. Brendan Rodgers, get them through the door. Thank you. Right then, that does it for today's transfer update. A story that came out of the blue just this afternoon, so hopefully more emerges over the next few days. Keep an eye on it. I'll obviously be keeping you updated here as well, so you know what to do. Like and subscribe. But until that next update and until the next video, take care, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you all next time.